So today we're going to look at the leg extension with Lena. How are you, Lena?
I'm fine, thanks.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, good. Then we're going to start. This is a very common exercise seen in gyms, pretty much everywhere. It does take a very specific piece of equipment, but when done properly, can really nail the quadriceps. Let's take a look. So let's say that this is Lena's left leg. Quadriceps are here. Rectus femoris, which is here, which actually crosses both the knee and the hip. Vastus medialis, vastus lateralis out here. Then you got your intermedius in here. So that makes 4. And that's what we're training in this exercise. Now, as she starts this, we need to pay very close attention to the range of motion as well as what her hips are doing. So the hips are pulled down into the seat so that you can lift the knees up. That's like a cantilever type thing. So the knees go up, lift up into my fingers. Now go ahead and go from 90 to 50, Lena. There you go. Then down, and then right back up again. And you're trying to keep the knee up as you kick up. Remember, you're doing resistance training. You're not lifting weights. There's a big difference here. That's too high. So 90 to 50, that's it. 90 to 50. And you're not letting the weight stack hit either. Try to lift the knees up a little bit. It's a lot harder than you think. And then up, watch for valgus. Don't let the knees go in. And keep your belly in. Hey, that's really good.
A great stretch for the hip and glute muscle is the hip external rotation stretch. Lie on the floor immediately in front of a chair so that one hip is bent to about 90 degrees. Take your opposite ankle and place it directly on the stationary thigh just above the knee. If this is too hard, move further away from the chair. You'll feel a pulling sensation in the back of the hip and glute muscles, even all the way up to the low back if you're really inflexible. If your goal is to temporarily relieve tension or to reduce injury risk prior to activity, hold the stretch on each side for about 30 to 60 seconds. If you're looking to lengthen muscles, stretch for a longer period, keeping your pelvis very still while breathing normally. Another version of this stretch can be done sitting close to the edge of a chair. Cross your leg over, making sure to rest your ankle, not your foot, on the other knee. Then sit up straight without arching your back. While pulling your shoulder blades together, lean forward slightly. Hold the stretch for 30 seconds or longer, and then repeat with the other leg.
So let's take a look at the orthopedics of that leg extension using the motion capture system. Now, this is a little tricky with the leg extension because there's a lot going on. And there's a lot going on in the sense that you need to protect your knee, but you really want to use your quads. Don't let this throw you. The femurs are actually touching the tibias in reality, and the patellas aren't way out here in front. The patella, or the kneecaps, are actually back here up against the femurs. So don't freak out about that. But what I want you to notice, the hip is flexed, so that she's actually leaning back a little bit, but the hip is flexed. See the femurs come up? That's called hip flexion. And then also the range of motion at the knee, she's kicking up from 90 to 50 degrees at the knee, and that's it. The orthopedic literature says that if I go from 90 to 50, I can really minimize the forces at the patella. I want to take a look at that a little closer. So from 90 to 50 in this exercise, which is actually the opposite of the squat, if you go from 90 to 50, the forces underneath that patella, your kneecap bone here, will stay relatively low. If you decide to go all the way up, like I did for a number of years before I knew better, the forces on the kneecap actually go way up on the leg extension. Be safe. Stick to the 90 to 50. Also, when you flex the hip, it makes you use more of your quadriceps muscles too, especially the one right in the middle called the rectus femoris, because that crosses the hip joint. Now, I can spin this around any way I want. I like doing this. It's kind of fun. It's like creating your own movie. But I'm going to go above here. See, this is looking at it from above. This is really, really good. You see how the femur stays straight as she's kicking up? A common mistake that people do, that valgus again, the knees will actually cave inward. They'll collapse inward, creating some really funky forces at the knee. You really want to focus on keeping not just the range of motion of 90 to 50, but keeping the knees up and even a little bit out. That will prevent that valgus we've been talking about and really keep knee mechanics at their best. Plus, it'll really make the muscles work hard. That's nice.